Yeah, there is a name.
Hi, Guy.
Hello, Mayor Callaway and council members, and to the new council members, I congratulate you both for your victory and for being here today. Many things, there's so many things to talk about, and so appreciative of this opportunity that we have every 2 weeks to speak in front of the public. We sometimes have to, just like with my last visit here, have to speak our mind when we know sometimes it's in the minority. And this is the job of council members, too. There may be times when one of you might be just the only person, and you might want to dare not even object, but it's very important if you do. Now, today what I want to talk about, the fires, everything is basically an environmental experience here, and you folks are the leadership of our response to our environment locally and how to protect it. Fires down in L.A., huge. I'm thinking of the Moss Landing fire right now. And, that the firemen had to let that burn itself out. They couldn't touch it. And so now there's just the cleanup to measure how much toxicity is in the Elkins Slough and surroundings. Luckily, there's no residents there. And I'm aware that we're going to be doing this big solar development thing that involves a big bank of lithium batteries that are going to be outside here, supposedly completely protected from water in case of flood, because lithium batteries actually ignite when they get wet. It's strange. But Sean tells me, and I've been told that everybody here knows that we can guarantee that this is never going to be a problem for San Anselmo. And I'm hoping that that's the case. But I'm hoping even more that we've really, really looked at the seriousness of what we've engaging with this giant bank of lithium batteries. And I'm not sure how big it is, 5 feet or 4 feet, but 6 feet or 10 feet. Do we know 10 years from now, is there going to be somebody monitoring how incredible a technology of sealing that is in 15 years from now? Will there be, at what level are we putting ourselves in this rush to be green, which I see it all over the place right now? And if there is any way that anybody on this council can help slow the process and have another examination of this issue in light of what's going on, I think you would be doing a heroic and a very necessary service to the people who live in the surroundings.
I'm going to ask you to, thank you. Hey, Bob.
Comment on behalf of the San Anselmoin as a private citizen, and then I need a minute for the Chamber of Commerce for an item that is not on the agenda. So I start with my personal comment, and it is about the Moss Landing fire. I've been sharing my concern about the lithium battery fires with Dave, with the fire chief, with Sean at several occasions, and I'm extremely concerned. And I'm going to read from a report from the Wall Street Journal. So, Moss Landing fire, world's largest battery plant, not clear yet what sparked the fire. Over 2,000 people evacuated, schools closed for several days. The fire department, I said, had to let the fire die by itself. Was impossible to stop it. Toxic air everywhere. They're still collecting particles of toxic material all over the place. Keep reading. Officials nationwide are grappling with how to address fires started by lithium-ion batteries, which burn rapidly and emit very toxic fumes. If we are going to move ahead with sustainable energy, we need to have a safe battery system in place, says County Supervisor of Moss Landing. A water-based mitigation system at the plant did not work as designed, said the company managing the plant. There were fires at the same facility in 2021 and 2022 that both sparked after water damage some of the batteries. You are probably aware that it is enough to damage one single cell to burn the entire container. In this case, that plant is destroyed. It's probably not going to be replace. So they spread very quickly. The best way to deal with battery fires is to let them burn out. And Morro Bay residents now don't want the next biggest plant to be built near them because of the Moss Landing. There are many other episodes just in California. July 27, if you know, Highway 15 was closed for 2 days because one container full of lithium batteries burned. August 20th, one truck containing lithium batteries shut down 110 in LA in San Pedro for 2 days. They couldn't stop it. A Tesla truck caught fire at Donner Pass, was 1 day and a half of flying. San Diego County last year had 3 different fires, to the point that the county now is considering stricter restriction to have fires nearby residential areas, and they're going to do a special San Diego Fire Rescue Unit for lithium battery fires. So it is a reality. The biggest, largest lithium battery plant in the world had plenty of engineers, plenty of security. It happened anyway. So please do consider the risk to add that in here. And the cost to my business, if I'm out of revenues for 7 days, that would be very expensive for the town. Thank you. And now on behalf of the chamber, about, I believe, 2 weeks ago, it is about public safety near Ross at 7 p.m. An SUV stopped, one person jumped out, hit him a few times, he resisted, they put him down, they kicked him when he was down, and they ran away. 7 p.m., downtown San Anselmo, 100 yards from my property. So we do need more police presence. It is really needed before something worse happens. And please do consider to have more cops out here all the time. Thank you. And that was on behalf of the chamber, by the way.
A lot about Marin County at marincountyconfidential.substack.com, and with reference to the comments from Guy and Benedetto, I have been following the Moss Landing fire, and I have a piece coming up about that. I do recommend watching the emergency meeting, the special meeting for the Monterey County Board of Supervisors. All of the comments, whether from the officials or from the audience, are really worth hearing. And I put some of that on Twitter/X if you want to go to @MarinDataNow at Twitter/X. But one thing that should not be forgotten is that fire, that raging toxic fire, is taking place, just a few miles from strawberry fields, lettuce fields, that produce, I think those fields produce like over 80% of the lettuce for the entire country. And we don't know, the EPA has said that the air is safe. Well, they said that about the air in East Palestine when there was that toxic crash last year. So keeping an eye on that. Switching gears with regard to Peter Collins' comment, I did want to just point out that the reason there's been more focus on Gaza than on the West Bank in the last 15 months is because there is...
Sue, you've been unmuted.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Town Council members. My name is Sue Saunders. I'm Vice Chair of the San Anselmo Climate Action Commission and the Climate Commission's representative for the general plan update. I just wanted to comment, the Moss Landing battery fire is out, the storage is functional, and I also wanted to point out that gas cars are more likely to catch on fire because of fuel pump leaks. We don't see the toxic smoke from refineries because we don't live in Richmond, but that's the alternative to clean energy. Natural gas releases toxic chemicals, including benzene, which causes cancer. It's just invisible, so we don't see it. That's why electrification with clean energy, including battery storage, is paramount to our health and safety. So a few things worth mentioning. Right now, there are outstanding incentives for electric vehicles, including the brand new Honda Prologue that has a whopping up to $21,000 discounted lease. And that's the third top-selling EV, and that's happening right now. And there's also huge discounts on the Volkswagen ID4. You can go to rideanddriveclean.org and click on EV discounts to find out more. And unfortunately, these incentives are likely to disappear, so the time to act is now if you are thinking about an electric vehicle. Transportation is the main source of over 50% of San Anselmo emissions. Public transportation, bikes, walking, and e-bikes are the best alternatives to gas cars, but if you must drive, please drive electric and act now before these incentives are gone. We also have heat pumps rebates are live in California, $4,000 for low income and $8,000 for moderate income. And in Marin County, low income is considered up to $109,000, and moderate is up to $205,000 for an individual. I also wanted to point out we have an event on February 7th at 7 p.m. at the Fairfax Women's Club, and it's about you can join us for passionate young climate advocates and engaging conversation with California State Assembly member Damon Connolly, and there's going to be a lot of other activities going on as well. We hope to see you there. And I just want to say in closing that local government is where we will make progress on our climate goals in the foreseeable future. You are all important politicians as well in the fight for our children and grandchildren's ability to have the quality of life we have. Our public works and planning department are essential as well, and much is being asked of them. But San Anselmo leads in every category of climate action because of them and because of you. We must support them as much as possible. And just in closing, it's going to be essential to adopt the state's 2020-25 building codes, especially the Cal Green codes for EV and building electrification. And I hope they will be brought before the town council soon. Thank you very much.
Perfect timing. My goodness, that was like amazing. So next we have Bridget Clark.
Now, if we're talking about the lithium batteries, and I understand that, you know, we're hearing the stories, we're reading the news, and so that's the front of everybody's mind. That's not something that we haven't really looked at. That's something we've been looking at really closely in the fire department for the last couple of years. We did have a Tesla that caught fire last year, and you know, we had a big discussion at the board, like what are the best ways to address this? There is this foamy material that you could put on stuff that makes it a little more effective, but it, as a lot of the speakers said, the way that they extinguish is letting them burn out, and that's a lot of chemicals going out. Now, that's not to say that people shouldn't drive electric cars or we shouldn't put a solar array in our parking lot. Just like the factories, just like anybody who lived in the neighborhoods in LA where this is happening, you know, if you drive an electric car, you got a lithium battery, and that's going to happen. And in those buildings that the factories were in, were zoned as safe. You know, you can't. It's very hard to plan for a disaster, particularly a catastrophic one. I just always come back to, I feel really good that we have really skilled and dedicated people that are doing those jobs for us in our town staff and our fire department. And whenever we make a decision like that, it is always with the public safety in mind first. So with that, Mayor, that's all I have.